Problem is, it's not just you. You have a kid coming into this now. So what are you going to do to protect you and your child? We are finally here at the finale frenzy, and it does not disappoint. Tiger Lily continues to have financial issues with Adnan, but are we shocked? Vanja is coming off as kinda desperate. Joe is begging, in essence, for Magda to not leave him after he lies again. Sonny chooses Veya, but will it stick? And Niles finally ties the knot, but does it get even weirder? We will get to all of that, but first, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. If you want to support the channel, drop a super thanks. I appreciate all the support. Y'all are awesome. We are going to get to Tiger Lily first because she just cannot get it. She had the right idea when she had a gut feeling about the wedding and not understanding what to expect, but she keeps going deeper and now she's trying to backtrack and it's just not working.
Since Adnan and I have gotten pregnant, we bought a cabin, but it needs remodeling before we can move in.
So they bought a cabin. I'm curious who really spent the money on the cabin, but she goes on to say that her and the kids have been living out of hotels ever since the lease on her apartment lapsed, but they have this cabin that needs complete remodel and looks like it's gutted. Why not just keep the apartment for a month to month? Usually you have that as an option. Seems like there's not really much thinking going into things.
He wants to keep his apartment in Jordan. If you're moving here, why do you want to keep it? Is
things that make you go,
that like a safety net or that?
Or perhaps maybe he's going to come over here, you have the baby, and he takes the baby and runs back to Jordan because he has a place to go. And what are you going to do about it? Try to deal with international politics and international judges? You would have an uphill battle because guess who they're not going to side with? The American. So you really need to think through these things because he definitely has a lot of red flags going on, and now you're bringing a kid into this, which really has to be thought about, and you did not do when you ran over there saying, yeah, let's get pregnant, even with all our issues we have going on.
He went to make his brother fair power of attorney.
What?
It was basically making his brother act as him.
What? Why? Explain this to me. Like, this is something typically you do. You see this with spouses. Maybe there's a spouse in the military. Maybe someone's got some medical things going on. You want someone to be able to make decisions in your absence. If you are married, if you have a wife, if you're going to the United States, why on earth would you need to give your brother power of attorney when you have a wife that you're supposed to be making decisions with together? Thus, the point of a marriage, coming together as one and having a family as one. Your brother, although he is your family, he is not your priority now, nor should he be. But because you give him power of attorney, any accounts you have on him or together with your wife, if you're on it, now he can go in and mess with stuff. And I would venture to say that whatever would happen in that aspect, they would be in it together. I don't trust Adnan. I think Tiger Lily has not been the sharpest knife in the drawer through all of this. Maybe she was blinded by love, I guess. Mostly lust, probably. But either way, not making good decisions.
Adnan is trying to do anything nefarious, but you never know.
Why would you say you don't think he's trying to do anything nefarious? You have him wanting to keep his apartment. You have him giving his brother a power of attorney. You are thinking about doing a post-nup, which you should have gone ahead and thought about this prenup beforehand. Should you have to get any of that? No. I argue if you're trying to get married, you shouldn't even be worried about a prenup. But damn, with all these all the things that you're skeptical about, you might as well be like, well, but I'm getting married anyway, but I'm skeptical. Okay, maybe prenup then, even though you shouldn't have gotten married in the first place. But now you're thinking about a post-nuptial agreement, which he is never going to sign. You are trying to retroactively do things, which is the dumbest thing because he ain't going to be about that.
Why didn't you protect yourself in the beginning? Both Cruz and I, we were telling you
yes.
this.
I know, but this is like not what I wanted. Like I don't. Like I don't want to be like keeping everything separate and like this is mine, this is ours. Like it's so yucky to me.
I mean, Yes, her friends were telling that to her that since day one. And they are absolutely right. And I told you so is called for. But her saying, I don't want to keep things separately. It's so yucky. Yes, in a marriage, you should not be keeping things separately. The problem here is that you're starting to maybe finally having some realizations which you should have had before the marriage, and maybe you need to try to protect yourself now. You shouldn't have gotten married in the first place, and then you kept rolling with it by saying, I'm going on a pregnancy tour, so you can try to get pregnant when all of the red flags were there. Now you are thinking, oh, what am I going to do? He's doing all these things. Guess what? That's your own damn fault. Problem is, it's not just you. You have a kid coming into this now. So what are you going to do to protect you and your child? Because right now, it seems like they might need protection from Adnan, even though that is their father. Trust me, it is not going to be smooth sailing. I don't care what you say.
You want to have 1 foot in the U.S. and 1 foot in Jordan.
Yes.
You want me to leave my apartment? You want me to leave my country? You want me to leave my family just to be with you?
That's what it means.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. That is called a marriage. You are coming together as one, and yet you want to keep everything separate. Guess what that means? You want to be a playboy. Ain't gonna happen in a true marriage. He is full of it, and he knows it. Problem is now that some things are starting to come to light, he doesn't know how to handle it, and he wants to keep everything separate so he can just be where he wants to be, take the kid, take money, whatever. He doesn't want a true marriage. This is beyond the religious thing. This guy was never ready for marriage. Maybe he's just a straight up scam artist. That wouldn't shock me at all. But she is so dumb that she couldn't see it from the beginning, and she was I'm not even gonna say love. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it again. It was not love, it was lust. She was blinded by lust because maybe she was just looking for something after a terrible possessive relationship. I don't know, but for some reason she jumped into the next possessive relationship she could find, and guess what? It wasn't only not better, it was worse, horribly worse, and she keeps making it worse week after week.
I have our own home, I have our own car, I have our own business.
You have your own home or you have an apartment. That's different.
I'm working model, and Tahir is my manager. So when I give Tahir a power of attorney, something wrong, he can going to fix it in a court. And
guess what? If something's wrong, you go fix it in court. You keep talking about how you're going to go back over there, so if it's something on the Jordan side, you fix it. Your brother doesn't need to have power of attorney. Maybe your spouse does. If you're going to be absent for a period of time, your brother does not need to have it. And in fact, it's going to infringe on your relationship. So you're a dummy or you're a scam artist.
I want to continue with wife and then trust husband.
Oh, I won't
You
continue.
understand me?
Guess what? 23-year-olds gonna be 23-year-olds. You understand me? And hangs up. What kind of immaturity is this with someone that's gonna be the father or is the father of your child and is supposed to be your husband, and yet you're still trying to make this work? Whatever you have to do to divorce to make it like that over there, or just cut him off, whatever, either way, you're going to be better off because this guy is a coward. He's going to probably take the kid and run back to Jordan. And what are you going to do then? Absolutely nothing. You are dumb right now. Why are you so dumb, Tiger Lily? You should have listened to your damn friends. Instead, now you're in the situation which is never going to get resolved unless you leave him and move on with your life. Good God. Now, Sonny and Veya have made a leap because he proposed and decided, I want to be with you and I'll accept whatever the fate. But then she decided to push and say, hey, we need to tell your dad. He said, not a good time. She said, too bad, so sad. Okay, she didn't really say that, but basically. So now they're going to go and try to make things better. How do you think that is going to go?
And Veya want to apologize to my father. She's bringing cake for a peace offering.
Oh my God. So for the thing she didn't think she had anything to do wrong with, which I would argue, I think that was mostly the dad that was overbearing. But now she's going to bring cake to make it fit. Do they think that's going to make everything better? And she goes on to say, but it helps with the endorphins and everything like that because she kind of talks like this and I don't really know why. Like she's got helium all the time. But I digress. She's going to thinks it's going to make things better. One thing I will point out though, as fun as sugar and things can be and give you a brief endorphin rush, the crash is always worse. Why do you think you feel like garbage after eating a bunch of junk? And you're going to feed that to him? Come on, you're better off giving him something a little more potent. But That ain't gonna happen, I guess.
And why should you give me cake when you did so many wrong things and you come with the cake, big cake, small cake, whatever?
Why you bring cake? Big cake, small cake, whatever. Why cake? Like, he's freaking out about the cake because, my God, why the hell are you even here? Basically, I want my serious questions answered, and you bring cake. Told you, cake, not a good idea. And he don't even care. He didn't even get a chance to eat it yet to see if it's a good one.
You guys going to get married?
Oh, you get married?
Eventually, yes. No, I don't think so.
No. I do not think so, my friend. This is not going to happen. Not without my approval. This guy is just, I'm sorry, you're never going to get on his good side. He's got this is how it is traditionally. Doesn't matter if his son doesn't follow things traditionally. He's going to stick to this. So the question isn't so much, will he accept? Because he won't. The question is, will Sonny stick to what he said and say, I choose you over my family and friends? That is tough. It's going to be a tough one for him. He can say it now because he's really into you. Look, all these couples say they have this love. I don't necessarily buy it. I think it's more of a lust, more of an infatuation, more of a, I really, really, really like you and I don't really know what love is because I got a lot of trauma. There's so much trauma response in these couples. But the question is, will it stick? And I just don't buy it.
Make a change. Somebody doesn't want it to be.
Yes, true. But
you have to convert. You have to make her understand.
Yeah, he ain't having it. Like, he's trying to explain to his dad that I cannot make her convert. We're going to make it work. She's, believes in her faith. She's never really been explicit. She's mentioned being a Christian. I don't know how practicing she is, but she doesn't want to be a Muslim. That's fine. It does happen where couples have different religious backgrounds and they make it work. It's not as easy. It's easier when you have kind of the same philosophical, the same kind of political, the same kind, all these different kind of beliefs. It does make it easier, but it can work. Difficult, but it can. The question is it going to, in this instance, when Sonny is really kind of doesn't seem like he's more of a fence sitter right now. He seems like he's just trying to make it work in the moment. But I feel like once she's gone, friends and family can sway him back. So I don't buy it's going to last.
How are you going to stay with us? This way? You know that it's not work like that. Maybe you have to go your way. Maybe I have to go my way.
Ooh, Dad is disowning you. That's harsh, man. Dad is saying, like, maybe we have to go our separate ways. I mean, that sounds like some friends who had a big fight. This is your father and saying we may have to go our separate ways, which is kind of rich from this nicer term, this dummy. We'll just say this dummy. This is rich from him considering he abandoned the kid. He left from their home country and then Sonny followed him over there at some point when he was older. But he abandoned the family. So him saying, no, we may have to go our separate ways, it's not like it's the first time, but I do feel bad for Sonny because I know that's got to be just awful.
So don't count me for anything in future.
Well, he didn't really count on you for anything in the past, so that's not really saying a whole lot. But this guy thinks very highly. But you know what the sad part is he says that, and Sonny still really values his opinion because it's still your dad. As horrible things as he did, and as much as we can look on the outside and from the outside looking in and say, my God, this guy is just a clown and he's no father. That's still Sonny's dad. So that's why I say it's going to be very difficult for him to actually do what he said and say, you know what, I choose you, Veya, especially when you're talking about people in your life. Especially his friend who he lives with. He might have more sway than anybody.
I don't like to even see Sonny's face now.
Damn. Like, I don't even want to see her face. Like that's look how sad he is.
Make the story short. Leave me alone.
Damn. Talking about that sounded like some high school friend. I'm gonna make this short. Leave me alone. That's your dad. Like, this guy is the lowest of the low, the clownest of the clown, the scum of the scum, the lowest, the junk on the bottom of my shoe. That's your dad, Sonny. And I feel bad for you because it's still your dad. And to you, you're going to look at it differently than someone like me. But damn, God, I think Sonny be the one saying, you know what, Dad, I cut you loose. Easier said than done, though, for sure.
I don't know where's my situation with my dad's, but I'm glad I have someone that I care and love that make me to feel
That is a broken dude right there.
good. But
I am just glad I have someone that can make me feel good. And even with my situation, my dad, and he's crying, he's upset. Like, he is broken, you know, all that stuff in the past he's got to work through for sure. He's got a little bit of some anger issues, a little bit of possessiveness going on, nothing crazy, but a little bit that we've had to address. But damn, he is broken because his father broke him. What happens to a boy when they don't have a positive male role model? It can be detrimental, especially for him, who his dad comes back in his life and then does this, sending all these mixed signals when he was never a role model to begin with. What do you get? You get Sonny, who's confused and doesn't really know which people are there for him and which are not. God, I feel bad for this guy. I hope he can make the right decision. I hope Veya is not just, you know, blowing smoke up his tailpipe, because damn, he definitely has got some traumas just like she does with everything they've talked about. But they need to get some help, man, because that's just sad. That's sad. What he's dealing with is sad. We'll see, though. We'll see if they end up together for sure. I don't know, but I don't have high hopes. Now, Niles and Matilda finally got married, tied the knot. Mr. Ark said, "My son, I give you away." And Niles said, "Thank you, Mr. Ark. You are the best. I love Matilda forever." And they got married. And here we are. And you know what? Through all the lies, through all the BS, through all the stuff he's still trying to do that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, maybe they make it last. I don't know, but he definitely is not realistic about some of the things they have in their future.
We learned to dance or how to get rhythm. And normally an environment with all this noise, it would be too much for me.
But
I'm warming up to it.
that makes absolutely no sense. He is talking about how usually the environment, all this noise, I wouldn't be able to handle it. But this one, for some reason, I'm warming up to it. I don't believe you, Niles. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff where I'm like, Niles, oh, see, I started out this season like, Niles, man, I could hang out with you. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I still feel like I could hang out with Niles. I just feel like he'd be fun to be around. But I definitely think he's not genuine about everything he's saying. Is he autistic? Yeah, probably. I mean, most likely. But how severe it is, I don't know, because he's talking about, oh, you know, usually this and all the things. I need my headphones, I need to do all this masking, I need to rub my ears, and I need to do all this. And now he's like, but I can be around all these loud noises and it's just fine. It makes no sense. He's definitely playing it up a little bit for sure. And we've seen that throughout the season. So I will say, I don't believe you that you're warming up to it. I think you just weren't as heightened on some of these things as you made it seem.
One of the jobs that I had previously interviewed, well, they notified me that I had gotten the job.
Yay!
It's very similar to my previous job as a peer advocate.
Great.
I am so relieved, but when I start my new job, I'm gonna have to start pinching my pennies so I can cover all the expenses of bringing Matilda to America.
I think he's a little over-enthusiastic or a little too optimistic about what's going on. A peer advocate, someone that doesn't typically make a ton of money, and you're talking about when he's got to save a bunch of money to bring her over and then be able to support you both, because she's not going to be able to work right away if she's able to work at all, or if she even wants to work. She hasn't really shown much of an indication that she wants to work, but maybe she does. Either way, she ain't going to be able to do it right away, and he's just not realistically thinking about things. If he wants to actually have a chance at doing this, he's got to be more realistic. And he's probably going to, this one job ain't going to, you're going to have to start busting your behind with more than one job. And guess what? If you really want something, you'll do it. Trust me, I know.
what is the reason why your boss fired you?
Good question.
Well, actually, they gave me no reason at all. They just said that they no longer require my services.
Uh-huh.
I don't
And why is that?
How is it possible?
Well, in Alabama, it's an at-will employment state.
Okay.
They can fire you for any reason or no reason at all.
Yes, as an at-will state, that is true. And if you've known, I'm sure some of you out there have worked in an at-will state. And yes, this is true what he's saying. However, in an at-will state, although they can fire you for any reason, they can just say, come in, I don't need you anymore. That's fine. But do they typically do that? No, not typically. Usually companies still have policies in place where this is what happens if you do this is what happens if you do this, and then on the third time, then maybe that's your last time and you get let go. Even though they could let you go right away. So his whole, they don't have to have a reason. I don't buy it. My guess is he didn't show up for work. He was too caught up in the whole going to Africa thing, and he started missing days. He started calling out. My guess is there was an actual reason. Did they need it? No, but I bet there was. But because it was an at-will state, he can use that as an excuse for her, and she could look it up and see it is an at-will state, and they cannot reveal to her why he got fired. So, although he's probably telling the truth that Alabama's an at-will state, I don't know, I don't live in Alabama, but then I just don't buy that it was actually him fired just because 9 times out of 10 that doesn't happen. Now, could it have? Sure. Probably not, though.
You know, I really wasn't planning on getting married on this trip.
No, you weren't.
So I didn't do as much research on the visa process as I probably honestly should have done.
Yes, you should have done a lot, and you didn't do any, because now you're going to have to figure out what's the time frame. You're going to have to figure out how much money you need. You're going to figure out what are the requirements of her. You're going to have to figure out how are you going to support you both and still, live comfortably or be able to get by. All of these things that you don't have a clue about because you went in saying she wants to get married, but I think we probably need to wait. And instead, now you're leaving married, which, I'm not shocked because clearly he doesn't make the best decisions. And even if they both have the best intentions, it wasn't the right time, Niles. It just wasn't.
My life is richer for having her in it. And I cannot wait for Matilda to come to America and we truly start our lives together.
You may have to wait a while because listen, what you promised to Mr. Ark is not going to come true. The whole 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, maybe 5 months. Yeah, it's probably going to be longer than a year before you ever get her over there if you're lucky. If you bust your behind, work multiple jobs, save every penny, and then maybe. But even that, I don't think he has the discipline to do any of that. I don't think he's going to work 2 jobs. I don't think he's going to follow through. It'll be curious to see what actually happens at the reunion because I don't think he's going to do most of what he's saying. But to be determined, and we will see. They seem like they care about each other for the most part, but he's got a little bit of a truth problem, and she's a little optimistic about going to the United States when there's a lot more things that need to happen. And if she does a little bit of, rudimentary research on it, she'd probably find out, I don't think he's doing any of this. How's this going to work? Now, Vanya and Yosko, formerly Vanya and Bozo, they can't seem to get it right. Either way, here we are with Vanya, who has gotten broken up with again, and her heart's just broken, but did she have a part to play in it?
And then he goes into this whole thing, like, he said, I don't think I can be with you because you obviously don't have motherly instincts, and I have a child.
That's interesting. And I think maybe, so she's saying he's going into this thing about, I don't think you have motherly instincts and I have a child. But I think she's making it seem like, where did this come from? It's out of left field. What are we going to do? I think there might be a little bit more to it than that.
I thought that there was going to be a child that I would have to take care of.
Oh.
And I told him this, I said, this is going to have to be a mind switch for me that happens over time.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. She admitted to him when he was in Florida that this is going to be tough for her. It's got to be a mind switch. Well, someone who has a child... Okay, let me emphasize this by saying, let's just take away the fact that he might have just been a paid actor by the producer. Let's play this storyline out. If you tell someone who has a child that you're going to have a mind switch to make it work, that's not going to be something that really resonates or sits well with them. And although he was in this whirlwind state while you were in Florida, once he gets back, he might actually be thinking about, can this work? Wonder if that might have been what happened.
I had a chance to meet Josko's child. I would have fallen in love with him, and knowing who I am and how loving I am and how much love I have to give, he should have known that about me.
Excuse me, had you had a chance to meet his child, you would have fallen in love with him because you have so much love to give, and he should know this. How should he have known that? You just got done saying you have to flip something in your head to be able to make it work. But yet he should know that you would love his kid? He doesn't know that. And any good parent would be like, I don't know that this is going to happen. Now, eventually you were going to have to introduce a significant other, but you'd at least accept that maybe this is going to be difficult and maybe the children don't accept the person. And if they don't accept the person, then what? What happens then? She's acting like this is all out of left field, but if there's a child involved, it does change the dynamic and you have to accept that. If you don't accept it, then that's a you problem.
It's selfish because I'm leaving the kid with my mom for a long time.
Oh.
He will start crying over me. And how it kind of destroyed me and just give me a reason to start thinking about things.
There it is. So, he says he had to leave the kid with his parents, presumably when he went to Florida. The kid was crying for him. When he got back, knowing all of this, he had to kind of evaluate things. Then you might start thinking about the fact that she said, I need to flip it. Maybe kids I didn't anticipate. All of these things. And guess what that's going to make him say? And if he feels like he has to choose between the child or Vanya, who's he going to choose? The child, of course. There's no choice.
And now, everything's changed. Like, would you even want to see me at this point anymore? Or like, what, now what?
Talking about she's going back to Croatia because she had booked the trip. Does he want to see her?
What do you think?
Just people all of a sudden, I just need to...
He's trying to be nice, but say, I don't want to see you, which he should just come out right and say it. But also to point out, he made the point of, you said something about kids breaking your things, you've worked so hard for this, and so all of these things came together to be like, you're not ready to have children, and that's a part of my life. She tried to say, I said we could use this room over here for the child, but that's not really saying a whole lot. So she definitely gave all the red flags that she's not ready to be a mother, and he took all that in. Now, it was kind of a whirlwind vacation when he was there, so I could see going back and then thinking about it. And, she is a little needy, a little desperate. She does come off that way. And so it could be a little much in a lot of aspects. And quite frankly, I'm not really surprised. So we'll see. I don't see them reconciling, but you never know. Now, Joe and Magda continue to have this interesting dynamic because it's kind of wrought with lies and mistruths, and maybe it was a lie, but maybe it wasn't. And it's just a lot going on with their relationship. And it doesn't even seem genuine anyway. So it's kind of like, what the hell are they doing here?
How I supposed to want to building future with you when you like me all the time?
How I supposed to build a future with you?
I asked you if you had some past with your friends and you said no.
Now that is a problem because he did lie about that. Now I think maybe she's overreacting a bit for the whole thing, but yet I can kind of see both sides. But when you bring up the fact that you asked if there was any history and he said no, and now it comes out that he did because he had to admit it to you, yeah, he did lie. It's another thing to lie about, which makes it difficult to build trust. How are you going to have a long-lasting relationship? Well, it might be long-lasting. A long-lasting relationship if you cannot build that trust. And he is not good at building trust, that's for sure. And she already is acting like, I don't want to trust you anyway. So there's that.
To find out, you will spend time with her face to face. For now, I'm not ready for that to trust you.
But what?
It's not like I want to block her or whatever. You can still have contact with her on the phone.
Now that doesn't make sense. So you're saying you don't want him to spend physical time with her, but you're not asking him to block her so he can talk to her on the phone. Now let's play this one out, because how does it make sense when you don't trust him? So you're saying don't spend physical time with her, but it's okay for you to talk on the phone. If you don't trust him, why wouldn't you think he'll just get on the phone? And so, even if you saw his phone, you could see he called her and you were like, oh, okay, you said it was okay. And he just meets up with her anyway, and they sleep together because that's what you think is going on, right? So this situation makes absolutely no sense. And you are not being genuine at all. So this consistency you're trying to pull it's not consistent at all. It sends a mixed message too. If you can't, if you don't want him to be around this girl, then tell him you can't be around this girl. And then he can make the decision of, you're a little too possessive for me. Or he can say, okay, I really truly love you, fine. But instead, talk to her on the phone, but don't spend time with her. Yeah, that's a little interesting.
Of course, I wanted Joy to propose to me.
Of course, I want him to propose.
Poland, but he promised me and showed me he really loved me, so he will propose to me really soon.
You know what he said? He said, I want to propose to you, but I want you to meet my friends and family first. And so she needs to come to Florida and meet the friends and family, and then he's saying he'll propose. But what if they don't like her? What then? You're waiting and you're telling her, and she's telling you to your face, yes, he'll propose then. And without correcting her and saying, yes, if my friends and family like you, you're just going to let this play out? This could be a disaster when she comes to visit, and yet you're just like, whatever happens, I guess. My man, she does have the dog that bites X's testicles. So what do you think she'll do if you do something to cross her? Yeah, you didn't think that one through, did you?
I know you have to come back to work. I will be there soon.
Okay.
You will propose to me.
Oh.
Then you will apply for this visa and I will come soon.
Yeah.
And you will propose to me and then I will come soon. Like, again, she's saying, you will propose to me when he said, I want you to meet friends and family first. Never once considering that maybe they might have something to say negative that might hinder that proposal process. This is heading for a bad situation, most likely, at some point. I don't know when, but at some point.
I promise I'm gonna be yours and faithful and loving and always there for you.
Okay.
Promise.
Oh my gosh. Promise. Like, this is the most childish. I mean, I get it. She's like 23, so what is the surprise there? And he's just immature. And he sounds like he's reading off a cue card. You know, I promise to be there and be faithful and be loyal and not lie and line. Like, what are you doing here? Neither one of you are ready for any kind of relationship, but you're talking about bringing her over to the United States after she quit her job, and she's like, yep, you're going to take care of me forever. It's all good, when she's done this once before. Y'all are not thinking through these things. And Hio, by the way, is no, catch either with his lies, with his playboy lifestyle, with his thinking he's just the absolute ish. But this is going to fail in a disastrous fashion, I think. What do y'all think? Who do you think is going to last? Do you think Niles and Matilda? They might be the best one to last, I guess, if I had to choose one. Joe and Magda? Nah, no way. Tiger, Lily, and Adnan, if she's smart, but I don't think they'll last. I think he's got some stuff cooking, whatever. Lauren is not going back to Faith, so... But I guess maybe some things will come out. I don't know. He's definitely sleeping around with whoever he wants to. Brian's destined to be alone for sure. Sonny and Veya, I don't think they make it last long term. I just don't. Vanja is not getting Josko back. So out of all of them, maybe Matilda and Niles. But we'll see. If they're even still together when it comes to the reunion, it won't be long after that probably all of them are broken up. But we will see. It should be interesting. The reunion is next week. This finale frenzy finally over. But hey, we got some more madness coming in the next couple weeks to see who's going to fight at the reunion. To be determined. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. If you want to support the channel, drop a super thanks. I appreciate all the support. And I will see y'all next time.